Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm the CEO of Digitalia, a software development company that does pilot projects and omnichannel software development for pharma. And today with me we have three great speakers, and we will be debating the topic of digital transformation in pharma. So I will let you guys introduce yourselves. Matteo, you are on the right on my on my screen. So please be the first.
Yeah, I'll go first. Thanks, Alex. And hello everyone. Very nice to be here today with you, discussing such an important topic for our industry. My name is Matteo Colonna. I'm the global omnichannel engagement lead for Italy and Greece, working in Astellas. My experience is mainly focused on digital transformation, digital and omnichannel transformation within many industries. In my past experience, I was a consultant for many years. Then I joined the pharma industries since few years, and lots of challenges, but there are similarities across industries so that we can leverage on for this transformation. So very happy to be here today sharing my experience and contribution.
Thank you. Manuel, maybe you can be the next one.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Alex, for the introduction, and it's a pleasure for me to be here together with you guys. And my name is Manuel Mitola. I work as a global digital innovation manager for Menarini, and I have a few years of experience also in other pharma companies like Eli Lilly. And even before, I worked for Nestlé, and a few years also as a freelance consultant, always in the digital marketing, omni-channel marketing, digital transformation spaces. So it's a very good chance for me to be here with you and to exchange the opinion. So thank you very much. Looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you. Stefano, passing to you.
So thank you, Alex, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be here and to discuss about this hot topic regarding digital transformation with Matteo and Manuel. Few words about myself. So I work several years in pharma companies, before in the Italian local affiliate, Boehringer Ingelheim, and now I'm working in a global department in Zambon. Mainly driving the digital transformation and change management, and mainly to bring impact on three different capabilities. So omnichannel excellence, customer experience, and end-to-end content management. And before, I was working mainly in entertainment industry, gaming industry, so very digital oriented industry, and well-regulated industry as well as pharma.
Oh, nice. Cool. So as you can see, we have some interesting people today with a lot of experience in various pharma companies and not only. So thank you very much. Let's start maybe with the first topic, and let's start with a basic understanding, like what is digital transformation importance in pharma, and how do you have like a customer-centric approach to deliver like the driven data mindset in there? Manuel, maybe you can be the first.
Yeah, happy to kick it off. So let's say, first of all, I think that despite all the things that we say, that we always hear about pharma, that it is a let's say less innovative, less fast than other sector, I think pharma is a truly innovative sector, and I'm saying that because maybe is a wrong perception, because maybe is an industry where of course we have to take care of highly regulatory space. We need to take care of very strict rules and so on. Part of this innovation, of course, belongs to the digital transformation. And when it comes to the customer centricity, I think pharma can share a lot with other industry. And we have, I say, we have something to say also to, let's say, other industry, automotive, tourism, and so on. So if I think about having a data-driven mindset, to drive the digital transformation, the very first thing that comes into my mind is that having a data-driven approach has of course, important benefit, important plus for both the company and the final end user, the customer, and all the stakeholder, but it implies also associated cost, meaning that if you want to collect data, if you want to use data as a company, you have to take care of this data, let's say, setting up a privacy by design approach and so on. So it implies cost in storing, collecting, using, and so on. But that's only one side of the big cake, let's say, of the cost associated to data management, because the other side is related to the cost for the user to give this kind of data to the company. Because every time we are asking to our customer to share their data, of course, there is an effort that they have to afford. And so whenever there are costs, either you are a company, either you are a user, you need something back somehow. It's something ROI related to the effort or to the investment. And in my opinion, let's say, being truly customer-centric means to build a customer experience that is able to somehow reward the final user for the data that he or she has shared with the company. In short, let's say you give me the data, but I give you something back in terms of content, in terms of improved experience, and so on. So that's in a nutshell how I do see this topic, this question.
Nice, thank you very much. Stefano, what's your take on this?
Yeah, thank you, Manuel, regarding your thoughts. If I'm thinking about digital transformation, I think we as pharma companies are in the middle of our journey. Okay, some companies started in 2018, some others in 2020, but we can definitely say that we are in the early middle stage about it. But if you are looking from an ACP perspective, and in particular, after the pandemic situation, all of us notice that this target is increasingly demanding. So they ask for relevant, unbiased, non-scientific content, that services that really needs to their clinical practice, and they want to have them immediately. So how could we face? According to my experience, the most effective way is to start from the customer. So from the experience we want to deliver directly to him. Every digital transformation project should start with a deep customer understanding analysis in order to listen directly from their voice, what are the specific needs and per point of each specific phase of the clinical practice. And also we could integrate on a more quantitative perspective with, of course, desk analysis, but even better, leveraging customer experience capabilities in order to leveraging internal insights of our ACPs. Then, of course, we need to start a journey together with them. We can involve as a subject matter expert and work in agile way. Let's think about the rollout of an ACP portal. Maybe we can, before launching this portal, ask to our ACPs if these capabilities we design are the one that really answer to the needs, and validate and prioritize together with them. And then listen again, maybe showing this prototype in order to collect feedback on a user experience perspective. And then finally, regarding the data, as you can see, it's important all the journey. At the beginning, so on the customer understanding, but let's imagine during the rollout of a portal, you can have valuable insights regarding this to improve what is the segmentation, to understand if really the contents and the service you design are the one that really expecting. And also evaluate also this data in order to define trends and anticipate what are evolving customer needs. Also, maybe matching on a qualitative perspective with your subject matter expert in order to collect also that feedback.
Thank you. It's great to involve all the parties, especially the end user, because yeah, if you are building things for him and you don't know what he wants, then it's a problem. Matteo, what's your experience on that?
Yeah. So far, very good points. We already touched upon. The last one, very critical. Just gathering customer needs, what customer wants. So maybe we can deep dive on that later as well. My experience when it comes to digital transformation, I always ask myself, but what do we mean for digital transformation, right? So that's the point, because there are many dimensions and things to be discussed. I think to Stefano's point, we are, I think, at the beginning of our transformation. So we are, as industry, taking the first steps. I agree with Manuel that when it comes to pharma, we always say, okay, this is maybe going slowly, or we are not getting where we want, but this is a journey. So now we really can put the basis to change the way we work, the way we approach customers. So I think that now, when we need to engage with our customers, our clinician, let's say, is the same who buys on Amazon or watch Netflix. So he's used to some kind of experience, omnichannel experience, really high level one. So we need to be able to give customers kind of the same level in terms of experience, services, products. So because our industry is a mix of a B2C and a B2C industry, so it contains both dynamics. So it's even more complex. So when we talk about digital transformation, I think that the first thing we think about is platforms, new processes, capabilities. This is true, but the real enabler are the people. I mean, always through people we can then enable real transformation, and it just means changing the way we look at customers by changing the way we work internally. So when it comes to people, we need to refer both to customers, so interpret their needs, see what they want, mapping the journey, but also looking at our people in our organization on how to make them ready to go through this transformation.
Very nice take on this. Something stood into my mind from all three of you. So basically, gathering data from clients, especially in Europe, where there is the GDPR and also a bit of different regulations than the US or different markets. You need permission from the doctors to track their data or to see what they are doing in, I don't know, ACP portal or in various other things that we are using in there. There was an interesting question that I received last week from a person that I was speaking with. And the question sounds like this: where is the sweet spot in terms of asking for those data? Like, how can you prove the value that you can bring to them, or what's that sweet spot in proving the value that you bring to them, and after that asking for the data? So yeah, maybe you can also share something on this. We can start maybe in the same order, like Manuel.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a very good question, because let's say on one, it's like the chicken and the egg solution. Who you wanna have first, no? And I think that it is hard somehow to show the value if you cannot yet reach out to the customer. But of course, there are many ways. And the very first thing that comes to my mind is that we all know that we, from a marketing perspective, we moved from a push to pull approach, meaning that is less and less pushing the advertisement somehow for certain industries. Of course, I'm speaking cross industry, pushing the advertising, pushing the communication, and more being at the right place where the I mean, your customer, in this case, it can be a physician, can be a patient, depends on the product, depends on the industry, but being in the right place can be a good opportunity to be found and then to prove the value, to show the value. And that could be the very first step of somehow a relationship between the company and the customer. So if you are where the customer are, then you can somehow give a little bit of tasting, of the value that you are able to provide. And if, of course, this is successful, if you are very good at showing in a little bit, then you can start asking for something. And then when I say asking for something, it can be pieces of data that you build around the customer. So I remember years ago, I had to deal with a huge form, huge list. And of course, for example, I remember HCP portals with huge form where you have 100 fields to fill and so on. It was a huge barrier. So of course, I think that it must go step by step to reduce, as I was saying before, not the cost from a user perspective to sharing this data. So my recommendation here would be, okay, to show where the customer are already, of course, what you can show, and then asking for a few data and then more and more and more. Of course, whenever you ask for more, you have to be ready to give more, meaning that if I give you more data, I do expect a way improved customer experience.
I can answer building on what Manuel mentioned, and I think starting from the customer, of course, you have to share the reason why you are asking the permission. So if I give you the opt-in and so on, you can provide a really added value in order to provide tailored content, services, and so on. So it could be, a mutual partnership between customer and the company, and you can build to bring value regarding this. From a constraint point of view regarding GDPR, I can definitely tell you that it's something that is possible to face. According to my experience, we used to collect personal data, and here is the value, because if you have data from a nominal point of view, of course, your rep, your marketeers could express the value in order to provide something relevant, as I told you before, of content to our ACPs.
Nice.
Yeah, and if I can elaborate on what Stefano and Michael said before, so I think that it's very important for a company, for a brand, first of all, to establish their equity on the market. So we need to, let's say, first of all, gain trust and credibility from our customers. So this is, we have many brands in our industry, many established brands, let's say, so product already mature on the market, while we have also new brands on the market. So it needs to deal with those kind of dynamics as well. But I think that first of all, we need to be recognized as leaders from our customers. So that's the, let's say, trust and credibility basis needed. And after that, we can build. So when it comes to ask for more data, for example, customers, an ECP wants to register for our website, right? It needs to fill in lots of information, as I'm sure that Stefano and Michael have the same experience on that. So here it's a matter to really, in a concrete way, to find the right balance on how much information I'm asking and the kind of service that I can provide based on that information. So, and I agree that the more we ask, the more we need to give back. And I think that on top of our let's say, medical scientific communication, information about product, the other value add that we can bring to customers is services, technologies, the way on how we can help them to make easier their day-to-day life. I think that if we're able to do so, they are going to share with us any data we want.
Yeah. A good example that I also encountered in the industry. Basically, there is also this company which is in top 10 in there, and I was speaking only with the local market, someone from the local market. So they built like this shiny solution in terms of ACP portal in there. And they were also having this question on how to use the new tool to promote it, how to attract it was dedicated especially for the doctors. How can we make the doctors to enter into it? So they did like quite a smart thing in there. And maybe someone over here can be inspired to sort of borrow this idea. So they use their Salesforce people, sales reps in there in order to promote it. So how they do it, basically the portal also had like the rep trigger emails in there. So they were sending rep trigger emails via the portal from that specific sections. And when the reps were visiting the doctor, they were saying, hey, they saw that the open rates are not so good. So they didn't want to push into the doctor right on opening it, moving to spam or whatever, the email in there. So they said, hey, I'm going to send you an email. Next, I don't expect for you to read it, but next time when I'll be here visiting you, we will go together through it. So this is how they built, like basically they went into those rep trigger emails. Basically, there were some pieces of content directly linked to the ACP portal. So basically the doctor needed to create like to validate the account and to give his permission into getting the data. And after that, he was guiding the doctor via that. So they had like good success into doing that. So basically it was like, let's say a joint effort between the digital transformation, because at portal, like they invested a lot of resources into that, like people, money, and so on. And also a joint effort into using the into driving this transformation. So yeah, that's just an example, and I'm sure that a bit more to the end of this, we are having like a specific sections where you can also share some examples from your experience or from what you've seen in the industry. Cool. But moving on a bit, maybe we can start right now with some challenges that companies are facing into the driving digital transformation, because it's not like something that you can just clicking the fingers and happening. And again, if you also seen some good examples in the industry, and if you can share it, I'm sure the people will love it. Stefano,
Sure.
please start this time.
Yes, thank you, Alex. Regarding my past experience, I could bring here to the table three main challenges that I face where I try to co-design effective omnichannel customer experience strategy and actionable journeys. So the first one, of course, is the adoption. So if you want to introduce a new platform or new challenge, the best effective way is to start working from the beginning in involving a cross-functional team. So sales, marketing, and medical affairs, and start this journey end-to-end together with them. Then, of course, we should start with the simplicity. So we need to start from the relevant channel from our rep, our MSL, and also maybe relevant channels for head office user. And then you can build more, adding complexity. Then you should be pragmatic. Sometimes we build a very complex journey, but at the end they're not actionable at all. So in this case, it's better to bring real life directly to the table and involve from the beginning rep and MSL in order to bring concreteness over there. And then finally, you can exploit also the real value of the platform, of the technology, introducing the enabler. For example, if you want to deliver a real omnichannel strategy, you can introduce, for example, suggestion that can link all this journey, all the touch point regarding the different channels. You can build a journey based on a funnel perspective, leveraging A/B testing, for example. And that's what Manuel also mentioned before, to build effective pull and push strategies, because we need to provide flexibilities to our marketeers and medical affairs teams and thinking about the pandemic situation. The second challenge that I could bring here is to measure the impact. So if we want to, design effective customer-centric journey, we should measure the impact directly from the co-design phase. Also, in this case, we should start set targets and KPIs, and also on this we should start simple. We could leverage what is already available. So, for example, channel and performance KPI. We can set critical mass of the use of the CLM for our reps, for example. We can set an average of KPI regarding email channels, so specific for approved email and one for marketing automation. Also in this case, leveraging internal benchmark, and if available, you can integrate also with external benchmark. Leveraging customer experience capabilities, more a transactional way. So for example, net satisfaction score, customer satisfaction score. And then you can set an incremental roadmap in order to bring more complexity, and maybe leveraging also content performance and content tagging capabilities. In this case, we can move maybe from delivering some specific key messages, for example, efficacy or safety, from one specific personas or customer segment. And finally, the huge challenge that also Matteo mentioned before was the execution. So to bring excellent customer experience, we should be well coordinating between teams and different functions. So how can we do this? We need to exploit what the digital transformation brings inside the companies, designing new operating models, new processes. And also in this case, if you think about the content process, in this case, we can make significant improvement in each specific phase. For example, if you think about the creative side, we can avoid to have very fragmented agencies regarding this. One single agency for therapeutic areas, for branded and branding company, or even better, one agency for all the company. Then, of course, we can push more on localizing global content, also in this case, cascading operational KPI through the different affiliates. We can make a lot of improvement regarding MLR processes, in this case also leveraging AI solution. And at the end, in the content production, process. In this case, maybe we could relieve our marketeers and medical affairs teams in order to introduce even more agencies or external supplier in order to make them focuses on more added values activities. And finally, of course, change management. But this is, I guess, a mantra for all of us.
Yeah, I can step in here, Stefano, because this is crucial. Agree what you and Michael said. For me, in my experience, let's say the main big challenge is how to change people mindset, people culture, because again, it all starts from people. And this is, so far at least, the big challenge I face when it comes to digital transformation. So we need to be sure that all the people we interact with, all the stakeholders, all the function involved in transformation that goes from business, from marketing, sales, to regulatory, to legal, to all the operation, so all the function across the company. So first of all, it's very important to get the leadership onboarding. So we need to, as said before, we need to share the why it's needed, why we need to go through this journey. So it's very important to have such a combination of a top-down and bottom-up approach. So we need to have leadership on board to set priorities, to give direction in case of we need to define based on our many activities, we need to define priorities. So it's very important to have leadership on board. On the other hand, we need to just prove that it's working with the operating function. So when it comes to, for example, setting KPIs, we need to be sure that this will be reached, this will be above benchmark or our budget, let's say. So it's very important to guide teams in the transformation with, let's say, step-by-step journey, and just explain the why, explaining how it works. For example, in my experience, the hardest part was to how to make field force change the way they think about customer, the interaction, because I mean they used to do their work in terms of customer engagement, but when it comes to omnichannel, they need to become, as we always say, kind of orchestrators or the overall experience. So it's really getting people on board on these new ways of working. So this is the let's say big challenge to me. The first one, mindset and culture. The other one was partially mentioned by Stefano. It's about data. It's about analytics. We need to install a data-driven culture. This, I mean, such a novelty for the majority of the company in our industry due to many reasons. Now we don't have time to discuss that, but it's very. I think that the very important next step will be to really measure the impact of our activities, omnichannel activities, digital activities on revenue, on top line, on cost. I mean, there are many roadblocks in many companies for that. When it comes to talk about revenues, it's become also dangerous in some meetings within the company, but this is needed because I mean this is needed to prove that it's working. So we can use machine learning, we can use AI. I think we'll discuss that later on, but this is the other big challenge. So leverage data to make this clear that it's working. So to prove that it's working.
And if I can add something, Matteo and Stefano, I think you touched, I mean, the most important challenges. And you also mentioned, let's say, AI. That's one of my biggest love after my wife and my cat. And but one thing that comes to my mind if I think about AI is the fact that how is AI learning? And AI basically is learning by failure, because it's doing, failing, doing, failing, doing, failing. I mean, I'm oversimplifying, of course, but this is something that brings me to expand a little bit more what you mentioned, Matteo, about the cultural aspect. And if I think about the pharmaceutical industry, is an industry that in its core business, I mean, we cannot fail. I mean, if we release a drug and we fail, we will have an impact on patient lives. It means that we are driven into our core business to avoid failure. But the innovation is driven by failure. So that's, again, as it was before, a chicken and the egg. So how do we do that? Basically, I think this is the biggest challenge in terms of shaping the culture within a company, and that's related to the tolerance for failure. And because if I think about Silicon Valley startups, I mean, whenever they fail, I mean, they put it in their resume. They say, I failed starting 10 companies. If you do it in pharma, especially in Italy, if I think about it, I mean, I would never put in my resume, I failed starting up 10 companies, you know? So I think that's a cultural aspect that us as a digital transformation manager, we should be, let's say, pushing more and more within the company, increase the tolerance to failure for the project, and step by step, I mean, embracing it as a learning opportunity. Because of course we have an industry that we have many challenges on top of the other, like you know, regulatory. We have, I mean, an over-regulated environment and so on. But this aspect, I think, is something that we can work on.
Great. There are also a couple of questions from the audience. Maybe we can take them there now. There will be also a special time dedicated at the end if there will be more. So there is a question from Mirko. How have you managed to get other business functions effectively involved in customer experience and digital transformation processes?
maybe this one, Alex, is for me regarding because I talk about the cross-functional team. What I found effective is to work on both Matteo and Manuel mentioned, the change management. It's a journey that we have to embrace of all our organization. When I was talking about the co-design phase, during my past experience, I was also involving the enabling function in this, for example, regulatory, compliance, legal, because they need to understand what is the new journey and they have to attach with their hands. But also other functions like as training, data analytics, we are all on this because this is have an impact in a broader aspect than used in the past. We have to break completely the silos between the different functions and work together on this. But answering to the question how we can then on board, of course, to express the value that we can bring directly to our customer. We can provide really content and services that they ask, and we can really become a partner, a real partner for our customers.
If I can add something to that, I think Stefano, you touched a topic that it is related to the the co-creation, also with the cross-functional team. In my experience, co-creation is very powerful, but is also demanding in terms of workload, because you cannot always involve everybody in every step of the project, especially let's say the support function. If I think about legal, compliance, privacy, all these functions that, of course, they cannot be involved in every project. And one thing that I found very helpful, let's say, was to, as you said, show the value to them, but adapt my communication for to their, let's say, area of expertise, making it easy to understand, even with a different background. And I remember I called it some time ago in another occasion, building, let's say, the bridge between somehow the business and the technical part and the legal part. I mean, playing a role of translation in order to show the value and making sure that we are involved in the support function as early as possible, of course, but when they can bring value as well, because otherwise we will overwhelm them and they will get soon tired about hearing from us.
You're right.
Yeah, if I can add on that. Yeah, sorry, because it's a very good point. I also want to share my experience on that. So we all have limited capacity, limited resources, limited time. The more we go further in this journey. So the way I approach usually this cross-functional work, because when it comes to omnichannel to digital transformation, it's not about only marketing thing or commercial thing or medical thing. It's all the function working together. Also the enabling function, as we were saying. So at the beginning, it's important to have, effective but not so long co-creation session with all at the table to identify the guiding principles, the approach, strategical approach. Then after that, of course, we cannot have all the team involved in every meeting, right? So we need to just bring them in, as Manuel will say, when they can bring value. So you need to have initial session, co-creation sessions with all people at the table, and then go with a core team, very key stakeholders that need to drive the project, involving the other function where needed, in order to not have issues later on. So it's very important to be very on time for that. That's my experience.
Nice. Another interesting question is regarding what are you stopping or reducing to help you in accelerating the overall digital transformation effort? If there is something, of course. Manuel, maybe you can.
I'm thinking, because that's That's a very good question.
Yeah.
If Stefano, Matteo, you have already something in mind, please feel free to jump in.
I think that the driving principle that could guide on this is simplicity. This is the key, and to be really concrete and simplify. I mean, all the different stream that we have in our mind. I can bring some example. For example, before I talk about relevant channels for our field force, for our marketeer, start using in effective way them, start to make them visualizing, maybe introducing some powerful use cases for the field force. And then if they understand the value, you can build more on this. The simplicity, it's important. Maybe when you're talking about to the field force, you have to avoid digital omnichannel buzzword and focusing mainly on the value that this tool can provide directly to them. Of course, we have to remember that we are coming from the CRM that was a control system, but now this platform really helped them to be more effective during that call. And then, of course, link all the different stream we talk about, customer experience, AI, and so on, and bring them in a very pragmatic way.
Mhm.
And if I can add now something, let's say, came to my mind, you gave me a little bit of time to think. Thank you, Stefano. If I think about what to start when it comes to digital transformation, I think we need to start, let's say, connecting more the digital innovation to the business KPI. Because of course, when it comes to digital transformation, innovation, and so on, we are always overwhelmed by a lot of metrics. But I think if you are able to identify one or two business KPI that are important for the company, I think you will, of course, have a much bigger power, let's say, on driving the transformation. And that's something that I think we need to start looking more at the business KPI and less at the metrics. And another and the thing that that is close to my heart, let's say, that I think it's important to stop in terms of digital transformation is to stop looking for the wow effect. Because I have been listening for years saying, okay, we need to release a wow solution. We need to release something that is impressing people. I do not agree with that. I think that innovation must, of course, maybe somehow arrive to the point where the final result is a wow in terms of impact, in terms of business, in terms of customer experience. But I think we need to stop to look for the wow effect for its sake.
Yes, do agree. And I was just thinking at the question, start doing and stop doing. This is very tough question to answer because we need to go into very detailed and analysis. But I think here the sense of the question is what we should focus on. And elaborating on what Manuel was saying, when it comes to digital transformation, we need to deal with innovation. And innovation could be, two type of things. First of all, it's doing the same things we do today, but in a new way, in an innovative way. So we can tackle a problem from a different perspective. And this is innovation, and we have no wow effect. I agree totally with Matteo on that. We are not, doing innovation with, very colorful landing pages or something like that. This is something that we need to change step by step. Then, of course, you have innovation when you bring new technologies, new platforms, new ideas into business. And but of course, you have challenge of that as well. Let's think and all the compliance and regular topic, for example, for AI that you need to go through before to allow for a customer's usage. So, I think where we are now is just do the same thing we do, but in a smarter way with new technologies supporting. let's take an example, the data analysis. So far, it's just about I look at the open rate or click-through rate of my emails. But I need to look at the overall campaigns metrics and performances, right? So how the customers are going to interact with all my channels. So the behavior across channels, not only the single KPIs. So for this could be an example, there could be many more. But so again, we need to start piece by piece with small things to produce big effect moving forward.
Nice, thank you very much. We are getting close to the end of this webinar. Maybe we can also tackle like a last topic before having the final questions and ending the session today. So there are a lot of, let's say, digital transformation that is happening in there, and a lot of innovation in different pharma companies. Some at a slower pace, some that are revolutionizing the market in there. In your point of view, what would be some key technologies to shaping the pharma transformation in there? And I understand that this is different for every company because we might be at the companies might be at different stages. But from your experience or from your discussion with other colleagues in the pharma area, what's your take on this? Manuel,
yeah, maybe I can start on this. I think I already mentioned the very first one that I mean, it's the biggest type at the moment. I think, of course, AI is the biggest thing on the table. But if we wanna, let's say, deep dive a little bit on AI, I think 2 or 3 big trends within the AI space will have a big impact into the pharma industry. I'm thinking about a McKinsey study that I was reading a few weeks ago. Of course, the very first driver is related to the R&D, and the second driver of impact from AI to the pharma is related to the improvement in terms of production for marketing and sales. And when it comes to content production, of course, the very first thing that comes to my mind is the generative AI. Then the second part is related to the enterprise search and LLMs. And of course, the last part is related to the hyper personalization. So these are the 3 major things.
Thank you. Matteo, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is again big topic. Also, I mean, as you were saying, Alex, there are different levels of maturities across companies within the industry, but there are some of them, or also other companies, maybe software companies that are running this kind of technologies. I mean, today it seems that all is based on AI, right? But it's the new technologies, the frontier that will change. And actually, it's shaping some industries now, and will do the same for pharma. So this is a very big topic. And for example, there are software companies that are using AI to identify and treat cancers by looking at images, so the pathology images, so they can detect, for example, the abnormalities, and so they can also speed the diagnosis of cancer. So this has a big impact on patients, but also on clinicians as well. On the other hand, maybe Manuel was mentioning that is how we can discovery and find out new molecules, new drug to be then land on the market, right? Because we can now analyze millions of combinations in just milliseconds, right? So this is really changing the way we can identify and then launch products on the market, also predicting success rate from a patient perspective. So those are very advanced stuff. On the other hand, the other trend would be the patient monitoring, remote patient monitoring. So using, for example, wearables using mobile apps, clinician can just monitor on a daily basis the patient health status remotely. So, and if you think of that, we can then start collecting huge amount of data for us to really drive this machine learning predictive analytics models, because with only fewer data, I mean, just 1,000 lines in our CRM, this is not possible. We are not leveraging the full potential of AI. We need tons of data to do so. So yeah, there are many success stories. I think that so far it's about just pilots or something that is not already full embedded into our industry, but we'll get them very soon, I think.
Well, I hope so. Stefano?
Okay, so I can close the loop. Regarding the technology that maybe I can talk about, it's a really customer-centric technology that is the voice of the customer tools. So that also shaping the transformation in pharma. But maybe for all of us, what is the voice of the customer? Of course, is a methodology that the majority of the company use to measure the customer experience. So the real challenge behind this as pharmas, of course, is to bridge the gap between customer needs and the way we bring and deliver effective and concrete initiative that could improve the, of course, patient and physician daily activities. But if we look more on the tangible benefit, of course, for ACPs, it allows to receive content and services based on their needs and to move companies to be perceived as preferred partners. And for companies, of course, we can have valuable insights. So regarding the segmentation and profiling, for example, for the reps to consolidate the relationship also with the ACPs, and think about how many budget we can save because we can exploit our internal ACPs and internal insights instead of buying market researches. But to be more pragmatic, so it's not limited only in collecting feedback and analyzing, but as I told you, to deliver effective initiative. So the famous close the loop. And there are two ways to do this. The first one is related to our field force. So for example, if you imagine a call with an ACP, if they are unsatisfied about the content that has been shown, the rep could receive a notification regarding the satisfaction of the clinician. In this case, maybe the rep could make timely some action, for example, a callback or send an approved email regarding a deep dive of a scientific contents. But the real value from here, from this technology, is the data. You can involve a cross-functional team, for example, in order to define what are negative trends or structural issues, work on improvement, some contents maybe, or let's think about the ACP portal, the registration form, on a lead generation perspective. We receive a bad feedback. We can make some improvement regarding user experience, and also in design more tailored services and improve internal processes and so on. So how can we do this regarding the tech perspective? Of course, with marketing automation, this is not something feasible because we would limit it only in the initial phase in collecting feedback and basic analysis. If we are managing to move to a CX platform, of course, we will end all the processes. And we can also leveraging platform capabilities. For example, AI sentiment predictive analysis. We can cross different data input regarding customer data platform or data lake. So performing a really advanced customer dashboard. And in the end, also, I can bring here some added value that are the advanced feature that this platform can provide. Let's imagine that receive an inquiry about an ECP. The rep is not able to solve it. This platform can easily, in a timely way, escalate this to his district manager, or even better, also to the marketeers, and they can provide in a timely way a solution. This is a really customer-centric approach. And also maybe you can think about also to address some requests if you have open questions regarding this to pharmacovigilance and answer in a timely way in 24 hours. So.
Yep, very nice insight. And indeed, thank you for mentioning all the stuff that you just put in there. Just a final question from me, as I can see there are no more from the audience, and after that we can close it for today. Last week I've been to Reuters event in London for the customer experience one in pharma. And speaking about the voice of customers and the NPS with AI, like with sentiment analysis and things like this, Grünthal, like the German paint company, pharma paint company, they showcase like an example of the fact that they just integrated like the sentiment analysis tool, a sentiment analysis tool into their platforms, and right now they are testing the market with this to see exactly what's the feedback from their clients, from the ECPs, and so on. Have you tried maybe something like this, or have you heard maybe something like this? And what was your experiences with that, or what have you heard about it in the market about this? Is it successful? Is not? There are some learnings in there. They are not. What do you think? Stefano, since you were vociferating about this, maybe you can start.
Yes, I haven't deal in a practical way in pharmas, of course, because I think we are a step back regarding other industries. But I listen directly from vendor solution that is possible to cross all the data regarding, for example, social media, SEO, perspectives, so search engine, in order to integrate, complement valuable insights from your internal perspective. This is something that I learned. Of course, you cannot integrate it in from an individual perspective, but you can cluster, in segmenting personas in order to, provide valuable insights to, internal colleagues.
Maybe I can add a few things, Alex, on this point. I had some, in my past experiences, I had experience within pharma related to sentiment analysis. I can tell you that basically this was mostly related to the web and social media listening, meaning social media posts, tweets, and so on. The problem somehow that it is behind that is that of course, AI can help a lot there, but AI doesn't recognize emotion like we feel emotion. I mean, the AI doesn't feel the emotion. The generative AI can mimic some emotion, and the AI itself can recognize the mimic of the emotion that is different from feeling. It means that, of course, whenever you are doing this kind of sentiment analysis, you always have to deal somehow with a certain degree of error. And that reminds to myself a concept that is the always human in the loop. When it comes to sentiment analysis, I think it's good to have aggregated data. It's good to have somehow a filter, AI-based filter for the sentiment, but human must be in the loop in order to recognize it. And the good thing for pharma, especially when it comes to ethical products, and so on, we are not dealing with the huge amount of data, huge amount of customer like is doing other industries. Like if I think about Coca-Cola, here they are speaking about billions of users and interactions. So we can deal with a more small data set, and that's something that is important.
Yeah, if I can just add my thought as well, I was about laughing because I was remembering time when I was consultant, and we run sentiment analysis for digital project. And as Manuel was saying, so you just downloaded all the conversation and interaction from, I mean, blogs, social, and so on. But then to really identify the customer perception, the customer thoughts, you need to go through that, read each post to interpret this feeling. So this is very important. And I think that when it comes in general to measuring voice of the customer, we have many data we need to put together and leverage on. So we have, let's say, internal data based on our channels, could be our website, emails, so interaction on CRM, so tracking field force, remote meeting, and so on. Then, of course, we have external data, so the interaction on third party. It could be, for example, navigation on other websites, or it could be the interaction with third party emails, or how they interact with social, our LinkedIn page, Instagram, Facebook page, if we have one. And the other thing is we can collect data directly from their voices with surveys. So as Stefano was referring to. So putting this data together can just give us a good understanding of our customer feelings, but still we need to understand on how to also, again, just get the emotion from this data. So we are still not there, but this will be maybe the next step of this kind of analysis.
Thank you. Matteo, it seems that we started the webinar with you and we are also closing it. So
yeah,
it's
very nice.
In the loop. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Matteo. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Stefano, for joining me in this discussion.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question also.
Enjoy your evening and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening to
Guys,
all of
bye
you.
bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.